Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. My name's Jeremy. I own Jeramie Lu Photography. I'm based out of Reno, Nevada. I shoot all over the world though, but it's nice. So we're doing a little video series here for Pixifi, and we're kind of going to the end of the series here. So we're on the fourth video, if you will, of this series. And one thing that I want to talk to you guys about is the workflow system. Workflows for me are important. In fact, before I found Pixifi, I knew how important a workflow was. I just didn't know what it was. So I would create little index cards, and then I would put 1 through 12, and then I would put dates on them, the things that I needed to do per client to get it going, because I wanted to give them something called the Disney experience. I wanted each client to have this same experience so that when they referred me in the future or pushed me out or said anything about me, it's something to be expected from me, and that I'm giving my due diligence to each client. So Pixify has that built in, and this was probably the most exciting thing, and maybe the number one reason I decided to do Pixify 10 years ago and add it to my business. And then I found all this other stuff, right? So within your dashboard here, so this is my dashboard, upcoming events, latest leads, tasks coming up, and as you go down my calendar, things going on for my dates. It's a busy day, guys. And then payments received. Oh my God, you see my money. You see my money. Get out. Get out. I don't care if you see it, to be honest, but like, uh, it's weird. It's weird to talk about money, right? Asian people, we don't talk about money. Um, so I'm gonna go into my workflow template for you guys, right? So I'm gonna go into templates, and it's under templates, which is right above my head here. Let me move myself right above head. Ooh, let's move you over here. So basically, I only have 4 templates that I work with. I'm a simple guy, simple needs. So I have, if you've booked me for your portrait, if you've booked me for your event, if you've booked me for your wedding, and then I used to do a lot of in-person sales, and this was an in-person sales where I would set up things to go. A couple different examples is like you can have a workflow of everything before they book, right? So we talked in the last video about calling them, contacting them, doing the red flag surveys, all that fun stuff. You can do that before, and then you can do one after, or you can be like me and do everything for one client. So when you book me, I set up 21 different phases within your wedding, right? So you book me. As soon as you book me, you pay that retainer, you sign that contract, game on, 21 points. This starts from that day. Typically, it's about a year and a half, 2 years to a year after the wedding. And I do this, and if you remember from my first video, we do this because we want our name to be stuck in their brains for 3 years minimum. And that way it's natural for them to refer me. They're going to love you. They're going to tell people about you. And they're not going to go, God, babe, what was his name again that shot our wedding? Like, what is his name? Because I promise you, anybody that I've shot, you ask them, they will say my name. So the first thing we do, and the cool thing with the workflow is that you can set up what you have to do, when you have to do it, and or you can target it. Like once this is done, do this 3 days later. And then you can set it up to actually do automated versions as well. So maybe it's an email that has to be sent or an invoice that has to be sent. It'll actually automatically do it for you. And then within the workflow, you'll see this 14 up here. This 14 up here shows tasks that are due that day or that day forward. Hopefully I can just go forward and back here. But these are tasks that I have going on. So in the things to do, I have tasks. And I don't necessarily do them all the time, all right away, but these are things that I have to do. And I actually check this every single day. This is one of my favorite things. Again, OCD, wanting to know things. So send anniversary gift, email link, book last meeting with client, stuff like that. So if I can go back one page, there it is. Cool. So the first thing that we do is we're going to mail a thank you box to our client. We have a bunch of goodies that I love because it's about me, right? I have put a little book in there. I put some candles. I put some lotions. I put some coffee, like instant coffee. I put some candy. I put a little handwritten note that says, thank you so much for your trust. I appreciate you. It's kind of like, hey, thanks for just giving me like $2,000 retainer. Here's a box of stuff. But I also mail it in the mail. So it goes directly to their house because who gets mail anymore, guys? Like who's doing mail? So when they get mail, surprisingly, from probably the only vendor that's going to do it at their wedding, you're kind of a hero, right? You're kind of cool. I create an album on Zenfollow. I use Zenfollow to store my stuff, and this just creates their album. I create their password, something I do internally. I then send them an email, what to expect before wedding, and I set the due date for one day after this one. So once I create the gallery, I send this one. I actually have it sent with an automated email that goes out as well, and it's just like a reminder, like, hey, here's what to expect after your wedding. We want to book your engagement shoot now. This is what you should be thinking about. I'll send you a questionnaire here. Things that maybe a client, after they've talked with you for an hour at a Starbucks meeting, that you start to go, do they remember everything? Or they go home and you're like, yeah, I booked Jeramie Lu photography, and they're like, our mom's like, what's next? You just gave them 2,000 bucks. Like, what's next? This is your what's next. So it makes them feel a little bit better. It's all trackable and it's all good. I use a service called Honey Fund. So I send them a Honey Fund request so that they can start their online Honey Fund, which is just like a honeymoon service. I send a referral list shortly after that, 2 days after the last completion, where the referral list goes out of all my favorite vendors everywhere, right? I told you that one video that I have I have vendors that refer me. I refer them as well. So maybe they don't have a florist, maybe they don't have a videographer. I'm going to send them a list of people that I love, that I want to work with, in hopes that they will book them and I will get to work with them. And it makes it a lot easier. 4 months before the wedding, I will book my second shooter and my assistant. So I have a list of people that I go through that I use all the time. And if they're not available, then I cool. But at least 4 months before, it gets them on their calendar. I then send them another questionnaire. This is a 50-question questionnaire about their wedding, where their wedding's going to be, where they're getting dressed, name of the bridesmaids, groomsmen, parents' names, family names. Is the ceremony different from the reception? Things that I already know, but I want this on paper. What I do then is I take all these and I create a wedding day timeline rough draft for them. And if they have a coordinator, cool, I'm using their coordinator's rough timeline to add to it, but I'm making sure that I get my input into it, because I don't want 5 minutes just to shoot my bride. I don't want 5 minutes to shoot my groom. I don't want 5 minutes to shoot the family photos. I need to be able to tell the coordinator, hey, I need this, this, and this. And if I'm not prepared for that wedding, I mean, the guys, they're paying up to $10,000 for a wedding photographer. Be prepared for it. So this timeline is the key source to keeping my anxiousness away, especially when I shoot a wedding. This is kind of a fun thing. I send a gift card and a note to them about 2 months before the wedding, and the note just says something simple like, "Hey, you guys have been talking about the wedding all the time. I get it. Please take an hour out on me and just reconnect. Just love each other." And I learned this from Zach and Jody, when Zach and Jody used to be Zach and Jody. But I actually handwrite the note and I mail it to them so that they get it in the mail, and they're like, "What is this?" So a couple gift cards, $5 each, $10 each, whatever, something small. That way they can kind of just go enjoy. A month before the wedding, we do our 1 month meeting. We get together, go through contracts, go through timelines, go through everything that they might need, make them feel secure, make them know that I'm still here and that I'm ready for their wedding. 3 days before, I email all the vendors of the wedding. We kind of go through that process where we email them all and say, "Hey, my name's Jeramie. I'll be shooting the wedding. I would love to network with you. If you need anything from the wedding, let me know. I'll be sending you images, blah, blah, blah," right? Day after the wedding, we do a sneak peek. If you notice, I didn't put anything for the wedding. I mean, it's a wedding day. I don't need to know that. But you can't add like day of wedding. I do a sneak peek on Facebook. I send an email right after that, what to expect after your wedding. Like we did what to expect before your wedding, this is things now we're reminding them again. The album process is going to be this. The print process is going to be this. I'll have your photos done in X amount of days, so that after the wedding, they're like, do we have our photos yet? Like, where are our photos? Where are our photos? So you're getting in front of them a little bit. I order a little gift for them from Artifact Uprising, 25 little square prints that I love. I love the company. I ordered their custom USB 20 days after the wedding. I do a secret release to them. So I send just the gallery to them. I email a link to all the vendors to download photos. I send them their final USB, again, via mail. I do give them a USB and digital downloads, both, so they have access to both, because they just paid me up to $10,000 and I want to give them something. So I give them a USB. We set up their album 90 days after their wedding. I send an email out on how to do that. You can kind of see email album setup. So I have a pre-template email done with that. So boom, just goes 90 days after the wedding. And then a year later, guys, I send an anniversary gift. I send a link to a canvas company that I use, not to the canvas company. I send a link to their photos. They pick an image, and then I send a 20 by 30 canvas directly to their house. And guess what? That's a year after their wedding. So they're still going to be talking about me. And now they have a beautiful canvas. If they didn't buy one from you already, they have a beautiful canvas on their wall of work that I've done. So every time somebody walks in their house, Jeramie Lu photography. So guys, I know that was a lot in this video, and you can kind of rewind that and watch it and set it up. But every single workflow that you do can be modified. My weddings is the biggest workflow. I have 21 phases. My portraits is about 8 or 9. And then you can do an after session as well. But workflows keep you on track, on point, and you can check it every day and do those workflows. And if you miss a day, that's fine. The other thing I want to remind you guys is that you can set these to different staff members, assign them to different people. So if you have multiple staff within your Pixifi account, maybe the person always sends emails, you only get that. So you as a photographer or the owner or whatever gets to go in and just pick what you want to do. Guys, hopefully that helps. Thank you so much for watching. I am excited for these series of videos on what Pixifi is doing. But again, reach out to me if you have any questions or write into support, and I will help answer as much as I can. Thank you guys so much. Talk to you next time.